My eye is pretty fucking terrifying. It's freaking me out. It's like half of me became a vampire. Do I got that sigil? Did you give me my sigil back? Remember the sigil from Austin? Did you give it back to me? Is it mine now? Or you have no more need for it because you gotta finally go ride off into your little CCP? You gonna give me my sigil? Is that what it is? Do I got my sigil? Huh? I already told you you had the elements all wrong, man. You had the elements wrong. You had them in the wrong position. And that's what the affliction has been. I already told you that. Anyway, apparently I'm being summoned. I need to tell you about what happened to John McCain. Y'all know what happened to John McCain? Well, I already gave part of the story. I understood out there. But here's the situation. John McCain was assaulted with a triple fetwa kind of thing. There's like a triple hit put on him. One were those guys on the Senate Armed Forces Committee that had that project around the old boys. John McCain didn't approve. And they knew it. But it's kind of like you're going to take out a guy like that. I mean, you need to have some buy in. So it wasn't just them, they had to get somebody else. Then there was two, the CIA, as in the Committee of Indian Affairs, and that 850 plus 3 on the Navajo housing, which turns out to be a flip on metrics connected to other housing. So they're leveraging tribal housing with tribal housing, depending upon how you break down the tribes, especially if you feel like you got some special all access pass to that portal in the Congo, right? Okay, so that's two. There's two. But there was a third reason. Why was the third? What was the third thing? The third reason why they were gonna take out John McCain. See, right now you only want me to remember 2/3. I'm supposed to forget the other third, right? Because you got that other third working somewhere else. But there's three major reasons that they were taking out John McCain. Ah, yeah, okay. So you already know that there were three major reasons. You only want me to remember two. Who gets the other third? Yeah, now I remember. Campaign finance, right? A little bit different than the Russ Feingold situation. Why? Have you actually read it? I think they wanted to kill John McCain to liquidate his estate and do things with his proposal for campaign finance reform. Kind of like they do this thing. They just do this thing where they take things that are supposed to be explicit and are supposed to have an accountability structure and are supposed to be there to actually help people understand a process. And they just don't want to do it by the rules. Because why? For instance, that Arthur Anderson crap. What's the good of completely defaming and disbanding Arthur Anderson after they spent 20 years trying to get Congress to follow its own fucking rules when it comes to how to deal with a budget? Why did you want all that stuff that Arthur Anderson was already saying? Hey, we're here to help you with, but you just didn't want Arthur Anderson to be the one to get credit for it. They had to be defamed, and then you did the same thing to Enron. You busted them down, and you're still working those deals, right? But you're not doing it in a way that anybody's holding accountable or that anybody's able to check in on and keep you in check for. And you're doing it in ways that constitute absolutely 100% completely abysmal and unacceptable war crimes under the guise of somehow being a what, national security? Fucking conflict resolution? Yeah, you got some fucking Silk Road deal left over from a couple hundred years ago you just don't want to have on the books? Is it a personal thing? Are you working through some fucking personal ancestral karma under the cover of sovereign fucking immunity? Whatever it is, if you actually read through that bill, it discusses how the intangible property of the people of the United States are actually potentially available for pooling to be drawn on as part of election activity. And if somebody had gone through the process of implementing that, there would have been a way to check it. There would have been a way to limit it. And there would have been a way, I believe, to also open up the possibility for more than an entrenched, completely disingenuous, allegedly two-party system. But when you don't actually pass it as a bill and you don't actually codify and implement specific measures in order to hold it accountable, what you have is massive exploitation. And you have an allowance for people to misappropriate people's political capital and use it as some bullshit counterparty strategy to literally launder political opposition into the largesse of their opposition. This is exactly what you've been doing ever since the 2008 election. Hey, let me ask you a question. Did Obama actually even fucking get elected? Did Obama actually fucking win? Or was the corruption just so entrenched that you were literally able to like completely misrepresent that he won? I already know. I already know that those Green Party candidates in Chicago got more votes than they were acknowledged for having. As a matter of fact, I think some of them might even have fucking won their district. I think Omar won. I'm not gonna lie. I think Omar won, and I think that other guy from the north side, I think they actually won. And I think you let them completely misrepresent what the actual voter turnout was. Because whatever that deal was, you guys let the CIA hook up with Obama, was that fucking nefarious. You let the Dixie mob have that much fucking influence. And he had already cut those deals with the Clintons in the case of a need for a concession so they could flip the book anyway. Why? Why would you allow for over 10 years of misrepresentation that there was a legitimate government in place? So you're like, well, I'm supposed to believe all these people. Oh my God, they already admitted, they already committed, they already did it. The truth of the matter is that doesn't even really fucking matter. It really, on one level, doesn't even really fucking matter. Sometimes you make a decision, and sometimes you have to admit it didn't work out. And even if it's really fucked up, I mean, we still have a Germany, right? Like it or not. We still have an Italy, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's not like it's like at least allegedly completely beyond the capacity for redemption. But we're in this situation now where in the modern era we were supposed to be coming into what it meant to go through a period of reparations and restitution. And nothing about this has been legitimate. Every goddamn fucking possibility there was for some sort of demonstration of reparations or restoration or restitution, even including for losing a war under the auspices of a national identity. We screw it up every time. We intentionally sabotage it before there's actually the capacity for the transformative moment. Why? Why do we keep sabotaging a capacity for there to actually be a restorative process? There's no point in creating these arbitrary punitive measures where you feel, well, they served their time. They served their time. They did what we said they needed to do. But you know what? I got a grievance that came up. Bam, I'm going to claim it before they get it. See, this is why I ended up on the back of the bus. I've been on the back of the bus for the last 10 fucking years. But by the time you get to the back of the bus, you already let somebody fucking hook up a goddamn bomb and it blows up. Over and over and fucking over again. This has been going on. So this is just my way of saying it. Anyway, you shouldn't have fucking did what you did to John McCain. I think he's in a cave somewhere. I don't think he's dead. All those other guys, I think they're actually dead. I think you actually got away with murdering them. I think something in his like brain tapped in from those like back in the days, and I think he's in a cave somewhere or something comparable to a cave, and I think he's been healing himself. And I think that John McCain is going to come back and kick your ass.